All right, no problem. You can begin.
Okay, good evening once more. So, we are going to look at all the assignments that we've been doing since the beginning of this class. Now, the first exercise um, was for you to enter some text and save and stuff like that. Like I told you, all these exercises, 80% of them are the instructions. You need to follow the instructions very well. If you don't understand the instructions, if you don't understand the instructions as far as these exercises are concerned, you are going to think that you are actually doing the exercises of which you are not. So, instructions are very important as far as exercises in Word are concerned. Okay. So, the first exercise was for you to put in some text and format them, I think, save them, specific names. Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I open Word. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Okay, so you were expected to start up Word. The first point was for you to start up Word, which we just did, and type the text that is found in that document. And the text read what is a word processor and then everything that followed. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and type in the text. Okay, so here is the text that you were to type. Here is it all typed out already. So the next option was for you to choose Save As from the Office button and name it Word Processing. Word processing. Well, the .doc, as we explained earlier, if you were following very attentively, you know that .doc is the extension for when you are saving a Word document. Okay, that is for 27. So you were to save it as what? Word processing .doc. So what you were to do here after typing this text exactly as you see it on screen, like this, that also includes the border that you have all around here. Okay. So if you were to click here and we click Save As, come under Documents, we were to save this as what? Uh, Word processing. Okay. So you just come here, you type word processing like that, and you click save. So that was it. And then the next option was for you to create a blank document that is from the My Office button still, and you type in your name and the group name. So you were to come here, you create a new document like this, you select blank document, you click create, it opens this up. I hope the right screen is still being shared. Okay, so presently we have a blank document, and then you type in your name, okay, and group name. So you were just to type in your name here. In this case, I'll type in my name. That's our Hillary, and group name. And then now, what group name are we talking about? It is the group name that you find yourself in that is on WhatsApp, okay? So that is what you were supposed to type in here. And in this case, it is what you have to type the group name exactly as it is found on WhatsApp. which is this. So that is what you were to do there. So after typing your group name, you save the document with the name my details, and then the .doc again is still the extension. So you come here, you go to save as, you type that, you save this as my details, just like that. The details is not spelled correctly. And that is it for that. Now you now have two documents. Of course, we now have two documents open. If you were to look at your taskbar down, what is the taskbar? The taskbar is this bar that is down here. I believe you already know that. You now have two documents which will be open, and then you can use the taskbar to switch between them, of course. On the Windows tab that is under the group, you can also click switch windows. What this means is you just come to view here. Okay, I believe I already explained this, and we want to switch this window. So if you were to click on switch windows here, you can easily switch between all these other documents. Okay, actually I have three documents open, but you have to switch between my details and word processing. So if I was to click here, it takes me directly to this other document, and if I was to click here, it takes me back to to this other document. So that is what you had to do. Okay, and then after that, you were just to close both documents and you send them to me on WhatsApp. So that's it for the first exercise. This is just what you had to do as far as that exercise was concerned. Open a new page. Stop share. Okay, and then looking at the next exercise. On the next exercise, you were expected to now, like I said, the instructions are very important. You were expected to create a document exactly as you saw it, as the PDF of which I sent you. You had to just do a duplicate of that PDF, but you create the document now in what? In Word, exactly as you see it, okay? And then if you scroll, you see under each exercise, there was a question. I asked the question at the end there. You were just supposed to answer or put a tick on that question, or you pick the right point at that question and you answer it. So the first one up was just for you to create the page exactly as you saw like that, and the second one you take select the right answer for all the alternative that you have up there. So we're going to go ahead and we create that first document. I don't need to be showing this on screen still, since you should have it. So the first one read, there was a heading there which was what? Public speaking, subject suggestions, and that is all caps. So we'll turn on the caps lock. Public speaking. You get a hyphen. Subject suggestions. Like that. Okay. And then if you look at this, you see that the page layout here. Okay. Oh man, a lot of, let me just a minute, let me turn off the WhatsApp. The notifications are kind of okay. All right. So here we have it. Now you have to, looking at what you had there, you had to centralize this. So this had to be in the center. So you put this in the center like this. You have to change it, the font color to red. Yes, that is already all caps. And then if you look at it very well, you're going to see that each of, that is the words, the beginning of each word was bigger than the others, okay? So this also had to be bold, okay? So the P, presently all the text is set to a font size of 11. So you could change the P to 14. You use Format Painter, you select the S, Format Painter again, you select this S, Format Painter, you select this S. Okay. Yes, so, and then of course, the font type. If you look at it very well, you are going to see that it is not Calibri. I think the suggestion here is spelled wrongly. There's supposed to be an S there. That is not Calibri. So you were just to move through all these font types until you see the one that really resembles what you find there on screen. Okay. Which nobody did that, I don't think so. So I'm gonna go with Area Black. Coming down now, we had what? Informative. But now, if you look very well, you will see that actually this text is not really occupying the sheet as you find on the assignment. So we need to increase the font size here still. So if we were to take this all to say 14, yes, if we were to take, because you have to create it to be exactly as you found it. Now 14 is still small. Let's take that up again. Let's say, okay, 16, yes. And we change this to say 18. We use format Penta, 18, format Penta, just the same, like that. Okay, now that is looking close to the exercise. So below here, we had to type what? Informative.
I need earpiece. Too much commitment.
Below here, we had to type what? Informative, okay? So we just go, and the informating is in lower caps, that is lower case, except the first, like that. But it is not in this color, so you need to change the font size to automatic, which will give you dark, and I think that does it. Going down, you had the next, which was what? Put a hyphen, now you type the text, which read how to study for a test. So if we were to type how to study for a test, like that. But now you see that this is not supposed to be this font type. Okay, it's not Area Black. That should be Calibri, like so. And then it's underlined. Okay, going down. So you can actually put this to be a bullet so that when you go down, it should switch automatically. Well, except that in the question, that is not a bullet. So you just have to go with that. Okay, so you press your tab key. Oh, the underline is still on. That is why you have that. So we turn that off. Press the tab, move in. Bring this. The next was what? How to get a summer job. How to get a summer job, like that. And then that one is what? You need to switch that to italics, as you can see. Yes. And then the next, press the tab key, turn off the italics. How to perform CPR. How to perform caps CPR, like that. Well, this has to move in a notch bit. You can always use the ruler to be sure that it is aligned. As you can see, when you click there, you find that line that comes out like that. You click there, still, we want this to be aligned, say here, yes, and here. Okay, just gonna go back. Okay, and then the next is what? How to change a flat tire. How to change a flat tire. And that one has a different kind of font type. Now, please, this has to be an interactive class. If you did the assignment, which font type did you use here? Hello, are you guys there? Well, you just have to browse through all the font types until you get the one that is
Yes, we are there.
close to that. Yes, Judith. So which font type did you use here?
I cannot really remember the name.
Ooh, you can't remember the name.
I was just like going through.
Okay, so you just go through until you find the corresponding font type that you have there, or what anything that can really be close to what you have there. Okay, let's go down systematically. This is looking like it. Oh, no. Yeah, this is looking like it. So I think we go for this. Then you need to change the color. So something that should be something. If you don't find it here, of course, you can come under more colors and you try to pick any of the colors here, which I think should be something like this. Yes. Okay. Yeah, but a little bit darker, I think. I think I'll go for the first one. Okay. So the next, you had a text box with some text in it. And what you had to do was just to come in here, you select a text box, select draw text box, you bring it out like so. You can move it beside. And of course, you need to change the color of the text box. There are two ways of which you can do that. The first is here, and the color there was what? Blue. Just need to change the color like this, and then you come in and you type all what you had there. All of these items are the same font and the same size. So you just have to type all of these items are the same font and the same size. Okay. So the font size is 2. So that is just like trying to give you a clue. It means everything that is in here should be what? Of the same font and the same size. Okay. So yeah, if we're good with Calibri, but you see that if you look at the size of the box, you see the box was directly linked to the text. So this box doesn't have to be too big. So this should also give you a guide of the kind of font size that you can pick. So if we were to select all the text in here by pressing Control A, and you come in here now, we reduce the font size to say 10. No, that does not match what we have in there. So we further drop it down again to 8. Yes, we can check this down. Okay, if that is not going, you can always use your centralize. We'll move this up. Font size, like so. Okay, this all has to be justified. Okay, the spacing is too much, so we can drop down the spacing here. So like so. Okay, so you see that the paragraphing is the spacing for the paragraph. That is why it keeps skipping like this. You see, when you press enter, it skips. So you need to go in and you actually change the spacing for what? The paragraph, okay? So say maybe instead of 8, we change this to say 4, okay? Then now when we kick that, you see it has dropped. So that is almost like what we had on screen now, but it's not yet there. So we go in here again and we change this to say 3, okay? So when we kick this down now, yeah, I think that there you go. And then you change the text color also to what? Blue. So there you have it. Then coming down, you have to continue. And you type the word what? Persuasive. Persuasive, like that. The P has to be caps. So you can change that by coming here and selecting uppercase. And of course, they have to align with what we have here. So you can just use the tab key to kick that in. Or you use the space bar. You can always use the ruler to verify. So we need to kick this in a notch again. Okay, there we have it. Of course, then going down, you had the text which read importance of foreign language study. Okay, this is not. I don't know why this one is only in bold. Was it bold in there? No. Okay, let's continue. We can do that adjustment after to save time. Okay, importance of foreign language study. Now, you don't have to always type the text before you do all the formatting. You can just turn on your underline. As you see, it's underlined there. Importance of foreign language study. Of course, that is not bold, so we need to turn that off. Oh, that is not bold. Actually, it's the font type, which is Arial Black. So you need to change the font type to, I think, Calibri. From what we can see there, yes, that should be Calibri. Yes, and I think we have this here now. I don't know why this. Okay, that is more like it. Good. Switch that off first. Okay. Then we underline this. No. Select just the part you want to underline. Underline that. Okay. And the next point was let's turn on the underline. Turn off the underline. Gun control. Kick this in like so. Got what? Gun control. And of course, that is italics. So just turn on italics like that. The next is recycling. Like so. And this is bold. And the next is attending college. Okay, I don't know why. Let's place this down here. Okay. And of course, this is not italic, so we turn this off and we change the font color to green. Well, our attending here is wrong. It's actually spelled with a T, with an E. Okay, like that. And the font type had to be what? Green. Okay, so there we have it. And then of course we had another text box. You could just go up and you copy this to save you the trouble of creating another text box. And you copy and paste, you can easily drag that down here. And then you see just the same thing. So you've just duplicated those two. Don't have to create another one again. So this is just what you had to do for the first assignment, for the first exercise. This is what you had to do. You just had to create this page and you send to me. And then at the bottom, you had a question which read which page orientation was used in the image. Which page orientation was used in that image? Actually, that was portrait. So if you selected portrait, then you were right. So that is it for the first. That was it for the first exercise. That was it for the first exercise. And I told you were to create folders which you save these exercises inside. Okay, you create a folder with your name. So you had to go to your documents. So I'm just gonna go and I click Save As. Presently, I'm found on my documents. I'm gonna create a folder here. So I just right click. I say New Folder, and I create a folder with my name, which is our Hillary. Okay, and I open the folder. Now, there were no instructions as to how to save the document, okay? So you could just save the document with any name, okay? So the first name that appears here, which is public speaking, you just click save. Now that is saved in the folder. I'm gonna go ahead and I open a new document. Stop sharing, go ahead. Okay, so the next exercise was, actually the easiest, because what you had to do, if you did not really understand the instructions correctly, it would have been a little bit cumbersome for you. But all you had to do in this exercise was just to create a series of folders. Okay, you were just to create a series of folders. This had little to do with Word. I think you just had to create some other documents here in Word, but you had to create a series of folders in your system. So I think let me share my. I think I should share my screen so I can do that and follow up. Okay, so let me just share my documents folder. Okay, so presently I'm sharing my documents folder. Okay, so what you were expected to do in this exercise was to the first thing, you were to find yourself under what? My documents. Okay, yeah. So now I am under my documents. Okay, and then you were to create the first folder, which was what? Personal. So you come new folder, just type in personal like that. Okay, so that is it. Now under the personal folder, if you open, you were to type what? Your dad's name, your mom's name. If you have a child, you type all. In fact, you can see there, continue this list, making a folder for every person in your family. So you were to type all those names in this folder, that is in the personal folder. Okay. Now, I explained to you earlier that the instructions are very important, especially for those who really want to go far with Microsoft Office as a whole. If you see the way these folders are positioned, you understand that you have a main folder and then you have a subfolder. How do you know that one is a subfolder under another? You see it going inside. It's just like the list. When I was explaining about list up here, you had the sub list. The sub list is found under the main list, okay? So if you see, this is just a list that I put out here, and all you had to do was just to come in and you create the names, you list your names here, and then when you come, again, you see now you have school, and the school folder has to be found under the personal folder, not outside, okay? So in here, after listing all the names of everybody and all that which you would type in here, okay, you will now supposed to go ahead, you create another folder, which is what? The school folder. Now you are going to ask me how do you go ahead listing names and all that in here? Of course, they are all folders which you just have to create. So if I was in here, you right click, you say new folder, you just write your dad's name. Well, I'm not going to be writing my dad's name. I think I'm just going to write a name there. So I'll just write Mr. John. Yeah. So that's Mr. John. Bob, that is him. Mom's name, you right click. Next folder, I'm just going to write Mrs. Mary like that. Okay. That is it. So that is just what you had to do for all children and all that you do. Or I don't think anybody did this. And then under that now, still under the personal folder, you were to create what? A school folder. So new folder, you create school. There you have it. You now open the school folder, as you can see from the instructions. You go in there now, you create another folder in there, which will now be what? The year's date. Please, somebody's mic is on. Somebody's mic is on. Please mute your mic. The year's date, okay, which is what? What was last year's date? Last year was 2019, okay? So you were just to come in here, you create a folder of what? 2019. Somebody's mic is seriously on. Please mute your mics.
It's okay. I'm trying to do that. I don't know what's happening. Each time I put it and mute it, it comes back. I don't know why. Mr. Bertrand, please switch off your mic. Switch off your mic. I don't know what's happening. You can just go ahead. I think it's okay now.
Okay, so we were just to put the last year's date, which was 2019 to what? 2020, like that. Okay, you create another folder, this year's date too, which was supposed to be what? 2020 to 2021, like that. Okay, and then of course you have another one again, other writings. But you don't have to continue in here. No, this one was to be under the school folder. So you go back and then you create another folder in here again, which is going to be what? Other writings. Okay, so you type the word other writings like this. Okay, and then under the other writing folder where we don't have anything to write there, so you just allow that folder blank. You create another folder which you now write interesting stories and articles. That is interesting. I'm still getting a sound. I don't know who that is coming from. Interesting stories and articles. Like that. And then you go under the interesting stories and articles folder and you create what? The first folder in there has to be what? Funny. The next folder has to be what? Inspirational. And then the last, not the least, quotes. Like that. So that is just what you had to do. And then the next one was a business folder. But if you look very well, if you look at the instructions very well, you don't have to create that in here or in here. You need to go all out back to where you had what? The personal folder, and you create another folder under your My Documents tab, which is now going to be what? Your business folder. So you just type in business like that. The next is church. And the next family. There you go. So this is what you had to do as far as the first part of that exercise was concerned. Okay. And then now they said, now create 3 different Word documents with specific names, one for English, one for history, and one for science, and save them in the folder entitled with the dates for the current school year. The documents may be blank, just pretend that, yeah. Okay, so what you were expected to do here, just let's go over it. They say create 3 different Word documents with specific names. There can be any names. One has to be for English, one for history, and one for science. Save them under the folder entitled with what? The dates for the current school year. Now you had to like just use your head. Where is the folder that has to do with school years? Now, if we are speaking of school years, that is current school year. What is this year? We are in 2020. Okay. And if a school year is this year, it means it has to what? extend to next year. So you had to go under your school folder, which is found under the personal folder. So you scroll, you find personal. Where is personal? Here is personal. You open your school folder, and then you open this folder. This is where you save the documents that you are going to create. So this folder, not this one, this folder. So you open this, and this is where you have to save the document. So this is going to take us back to what? Word. So let me just share my Word screen. Okay, presently we are back to Word. The first folder had to be for English. So you just have to save this file, not the folder rather. This has to be a Word document. So you save this document now with the name what? English. So if I was to come to the Office button, I click to save as, and then you have to browse to where you have that school folder. So you go to Documents, you scroll down, you find Personal, you find School, and then you open this and you name this document as what? English. And make sure you respect how the English is spelled there. So you have the first E, which is caps, they have the N, and the rest are lowercase, like that. So you save this document in there. You've presently saved. You can go ahead and you create another document, but just an easy way of doing it is when you use save as, the first document that was saved remains, okay? So save as maintains a copy of the document and then it creates a new document, okay? That is only if you change the name. If you don't change the name, you're going to receive a message which is going to ask you if you want to override the existing document. Then you click OK. So for this case, we're just going to do a save as again. Now you see it takes us directly into the document because Word understands that you might want to save in here. Okay. So instead of English now, I'm just going to go ahead and I change this now to what? History. And you see the history is spelled, the H is in lowercase. It's not like the English which started with a capital letter. So it's just spelled history like this. Okay. And then you click save. Now you have two documents in there, one for English, one for history. And then the last but not the least was also to save another document in there with the name what? Science. So you come in here and you type science like that. And you click save. Okay. So that was it for that exercise. And that is what you had to do. Now it will say, yeah, the document may be left blank. Of course, you just had to leave the documents blank. All you had to do was just to make sure that you follow the instructions, create all the folders, and then you make sure that you are able to identify the folder that you are supposed to save the document inside. Okay. So the next project A2, was to create a system of folders that are structured as follows. It's just still the same thing, but for the fact that, let me just share my screen again, my folders. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to documents. But for the fact you at this time, you're not supposed to be working under the documents folder. You're supposed to be working under the what? The pictures folder. Okay, so presently you're under the pictures folder, and the first thing you have to create in there is what? A families folder. So you right click, new folder. The family starts with caps, so family, like so. Enter. And of course, you don't need to go into the family folder. As you see, they are on the same line. There is no sub folder yet. So you need to create another folder for what? School. As you can see, like this. And the school has to also start with capital letters, I think. Yeah, like so. And then the next personal folder, another folder. So just for personal, still like that. Okay. And then under the personal folder now, you now have a first folder for what? 2012, like so. The next folder for 2013, like so. The next for 2014, like so. And then under the 2014 folder, you are expected to list all the months of the year from January to December. So you were to come in here and you create folders from January. Okay, the January actually starts with the caps like that. February. I'm not going to do all this, but that is what you had to do right up to what? December. So you actually had to have 12 folders in here from January to December, okay? In such a way that if you go all back to your documents for your pictures folder, you're going to have 3 folders in here. And then under the personal folder, you're going to have 3 other folders. And under the 2014 folder, you have the names of the month from January to what? December. Okay. So that is what you had to do as far as that exercise is concerned. And then, of course, we had a question at the end, which was, which methods can you use to move text from one part of the document to another? And you were asked to select all that apply, okay? So which method can you use to move text from one part of the document to another? Please, I expect somebody to answer me this question. The first option was to cut and paste the text. The next was to press the print screen on your keyboard. And the third option was to go to backspace view and click the mouse button. And the fourth option, select the text, then click and drag to another location. So please, which of these two methods was, oh man, I've already given the answer. Okay, which of these methods can you actually use to move text from one part of the document to another, please? I believe we should all have the questions in front of us. So which of these two methods? I'm still saying two. All right, to cut a long story short, please, 1 and 4, okay, are the right answers there. Yes, so you can either cut and paste the text, or you can select the text and then you click and drag to another location. So that was the right option as far as that question was concerned. Okay, so that wraps it up for exercise 2. And then looking at exercise 3. Exercise 3, where is exercise 3? Okay, so for exercise 3, you just had a document which you were to type. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my Word back. Okay, so you were to type this document and you put in, I think that should be a header. Okay, so you were just to create that document exactly as it is found like that. So the first thing you had to do was to come under your Insert tab. You click on header. And then if you looked very well, you were to see in here the corresponding header which was used in the document, okay, which was this. So this is what you had to select. And you have this. And in here, you just had to fill the date, which was what, November 22nd, 2020. So you type in there, November 22nd, 2020, like that. There's actually a comma here. Okay. And then you type the name, Jenny Iris, like that. Jenny Iris. Okay. After doing that, that was the first part of the exercise. And then the next part now, you had to start typing the document, which, well, I'm just going to, just give me a minute. Well, let's just type. It read Jenny Iris Blue, and the Jenny was caps, the Iris, I think Iris caps too. Yes, the beginning, like so, and the glue, the G caps, like that. You press enter to go to the next line. Then we got Mr. Myers, like so. And the M is also caps, like so. Okay. We got what? We got advanced, reading and writing, 28 February. Please, you were asked to produce a document as it was, okay? So you were not supposed to say maybe the 28 is attached to the February. Produce the document as it was. Follow instructions very well, please. 28 February 2014. Okay, please, if you have any question, I think we'll give a room for questions at the end, please. Just follow up. I'm correcting the exercises. So if you have any question, you can ask your question at the end. I see some of you are saying you have questions, please, at the end. So Control E to center this in the middle. You type the heading. That is the real life versus the fake life. And of course, this versus is underlined because they have to be a dot there. Okay. Now we don't want this to be in the middle. You can press Control L to move to the left. We talked of shortcuts yesterday. So if you have experimented on that, you should know how to work with the shortcuts by now. Now we have the death. I'm just going to type this and then we edit it after. The death of Ivan. Now what is that? I think that should be Lyich, Erich, comma, written by a Russian Leo Tolstoy, comma, compares the choice of living for the real life to living a fake, and the fake is in inverted commas, life. And then you have 3 dots there. But now look at this very well. You'll see that this starts as a paragraph. So you click there, you press the tab key, go in, and then the death of Ivan Illich. This is actually italics. So it changes to like that. And yeah, written by Russian, please respect cap. So this actually has to be caps. Like so, Leo Tolstoy, yes, compares and contrasts. Compares, oh, compares and contrast, please. What was I typing here? Compares and contrast. And contrast, yes, the choice of living for the real life to the fake life. Now, what have you noticed here? You see that actually the choice have to be together, but it's keeping that way. So what can we do to solve this? Because we actually need to produce this document to look exactly like what we have there. So there are 2 things. One, you can start by reducing the font size. Okay. So if we were to come, you can just work with the border. So if I was to click on the ruler this way and I pull this out just a bit, you see that kicks the choice off now in, and we now have the choice there. So this is just what you had to do as far as that was concerned. Of course, you can go ahead and you ignore this as it's underlined, since it's the name of person. This Ivan is actually supposed to be in capital letters, the I, like we see there. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and we ignore these things. We know it is the name of a person. So that is what you had to do for the 3rd exercise. And then for the last exercise, that was the 4th exercise. It's almost similar to this. It starts with why study public speaking. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and I create a new document still for that. Again, as you finish with the exercises, you were supposed to save them in the document that is where the folder, yeah, this, so I'm saving it under my name. Yeah, I can save it as science. Okay. Yeah. Create a new document. Make sure I'm sharing the new document. Okay. Now, this one, this is the last exercise, the last but not the least. You had a why study public speaking. Okay. So there were 2 ways of which you could create what you have there. I'm just going to go ahead and I show you the easiest, which is what you should know for now. You see it has a blue background. Okay, it has a blue background, and then below you have a pale yellow green line. Okay, so an easy way of you creating this is by using a text box. You can just go into a text box You bring in a text box, you draw a text box like so. Okay, extends all through the document. And then you go to, you fill the text box, okay? But before doing that, let's bring in our text. So I'm gonna centralize this. And I'm gonna type the text in there, which reads while study public speaking. Like that. And of course, there is a question mark there. But look at the text. You see that the text is tilted to the left. So we bring this down, okay? We bring this down. We change the alignment. We change the alignment to the left, like so. Okay, you can increase the size of the box. Okay, now you see it's skipping. It still keeps skipping. Of course, you can go in and you still change the paragraphing like we did before. You come in here, you can change this to 4. Okay, yeah, I think that is better. And then the font type, I believe that was supposed to be italics. Okay, maybe bold. Then you change the font type, you increase the font type, yeah, to this. Then I'm going to go ahead and I change the font color to white. Now you see it disappears. Why does this? What is happening here? Now that is because you are working on a white background, okay? That is why you see the text is off. The text is actually there. If you were to select, you see the text is there, but it's white. So you need to change the background now of this text box. And you do that by selecting the text box. You can either right click, you go to format, or you just rather left click, you come under the format tab here, you can change the background of blue, as you can see. Well, another way of changing this is if you don't want to use the styles, you can use the shape field here. So you select a specific blue color, which is this. So that is what you have to do. And then to bring in that pale line, which you had below, you can do that by still using the shapes. You select the line here. You can start here. Okay. You draw a line all through like so. Okay. Now the line is there. Okay. But now how do we make the line visible? You can increase the weight of the line. How do you make that? How do you increase the weight of the line? First of all, we need it to be green. So with that, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and select the line back. Okay, there we go. You right click and you can select format auto shape. Coming here to the size. First of all, the color has to be green. So we select our color here, which is what? Green, as you can see. And then you need to change the width. So you can just start increasing here until you see the difference. Okay, let's put that to be 7, or yeah, let's put it 5. We say okay. Oh, that's too much. So we take auto shape. Oh, whatever. Format auto shape instead of 5, 3. Yeah, that's still a bit too much. So let's take 2.5. I think that should give us the best. Good. So there you go. Now we have our heading. And then the next is a quote. We had to type in a quote here. And this quote read, the most important thing I learned in school was how to communicate. Okay. Now, if you look at this, if you look at the way it's formatted, if you want to type a text normally like that, it's going to give you a lot of work. If you want to be typey and you are manually centralizing and all that. So an easier way of you doing that is to still use a text box. Okay. So if I was to come in here, now there are 2 ways. You can still select a text box from the shapes. It is always found here or here. This is found here because it's the most generally used one, but it's always here. So this text box here is still the same text box that we have here. Okay. I'm still going to go ahead and I draw another text box now in the document. Okay, it's coming in like this because it remembers that it remembers the line width and everything as we just used last time. But now we don't need this border around. So what do we do to get rid of this border? So what you can do to get rid of this border is, instead for shape outline here, you can just select white and it's going to match with the border of the background, which is white, or you select no outline. So no outline, just, you see, you just have it. But if I click out, you don't see anything. So So you to easily move text in your document, learn to work with the text boxes, okay? Yes, that can help you to easily move and format text in your document. So we start with what is this? Okay, so we type the most important thing I learned. So let's just type that. The most important thing I learned in school was how to communicate. So to communicate. Okay, and they have 3 asterisk sign, but that actually has to take a first line. So we can go ahead and we increase this a bit. Okay, still not enough. So we add still not enough. Still not enough. Let's reduce the font size to say 10. Okay, that's enough now. And all that has to be italics like so. Okay, then on the next line, we had, so you can check this in a bit. You have brilliant ideas, but if, so let's just go ahead with that. You have brilliant ideas, comma, but if you can't get them across, but if you can't get them across, okay, like that. And there's another comma. We'll go to the next line, press the tab key, press the tab key again, and then your brains won't get you anyway. Okay, there we go. And then of course you do that and you put a full stop. You can put the name of whoever wrote that text, as you can see there, which is Lee Lacoca, I think. Lee Lacoca. So just use the tab key until we get to the end here. Or you can just use the shortcut key to get to the end, which is Control R. Takes you right to the end there, and then you put, and you see the name is not italics. Oh, undo. Lee Lacoca. Thing is like that. Remove this from being italics. Okay, there you go. Now, if I click out, you see just the text appears. Okay, so you see working with the text box is very easy than typing this text from one line to another, you know, yeah, and trying to format it and all that. But working with the text box has made us to, you know, easily format the text and have it exactly as it appears there. But now, if you look at that very well, you'll see that the line spacing is closer than what we have here. So for you to drop that, just select the text. You come up here to your paragraphing, you go to line spacing. Let's take 1. That is still not, it's still too small. So you can say remove spacing after paragraph. Okay, good. And that is what we have exactly in the text. So I'm just gonna go ahead and yeah, good. So there we go. All right, and then the last part of the exercise, we're just to come down here, type reasons like so. I think you put an inverted comma, I think, and that is underlined. Control U for the shortcut to underline, or you go up there to the corresponding group and you type, you click underline, and then of course 1 dot. Okay, so there we go. To increase ones, okay, still underline, let's get that off. To increase ones, You got a line, so you can just come in here, you select your line, click, you draw. Now, if you want to draw a perfectly straight line, you hold down the shift key, okay? It can be a little bit weird when you want to draw lines, you know, see, you can draw a line that was, so if you want to draw a perfectly straight line, you hold down the shift key and it's going to give you a perfectly straight line. So just put that. Oh, okay. Now it still goes with the same format that we had the last one, but this is not what we need now. So what do? You need to change this line back to the normal line. So just put undo. You can right click. You save. Oh, that is because I saved it as default. Yeah, well, I just selected it. So let's go back to format auto shape, change the color to black, and we change the weight back to say 2. Yes, that is still thick. So let's change the weight to yeah, black weight. Let's change this to 0.5. Yeah, I think that is good. That is it. So you can use the arrow keys to adjust the line now to take the corresponding position. Okay, so like what we have there. And then using the tab key, you can just move at the end of the line like so. In every area of life. Like that. And then we use different bullets. This time around, you need the lowercase. So you click here, you select this to start that. No, that's not actually what we need. We actually need this. Yes, not this, this. Okay, so, and then of course, you can just copy this line to save the stress of drawing in a line again. You can just copy this and bring this down here like that. And then when I press enter, oh, okay, what we will do is we'll go ahead again. We just do undo. Okay, try to type in the text. So it creates us the second part. Okay, now watch, copy this now, paste this here. And again, we paste the next line here. There you go. And at the end of this, you had a question which says, suppose you made an error while creating your document. You use the word moron instead of Burgundy in several places. What is the quickest way for you to correct your mistake? What's the quickest way for you to correct your mistake? The first option read, use the spelling and grammar feature. The next read, insert smart art. The next, delete all of the text and start over. And the next, use the find and replace feature. So the quickest way for you to correct your mistake was to use the find and replace feature, okay? Since that expected you to look for a specific word, you can easily go to the find, which is here. You click in here, you find this that appears. So if you were to type moron in here, it's gonna pick the word moron in your document, and then you replace it. You can easily replace it here too, okay? Either than using the spell error. The spell error has nothing to do in this case. Okay, so that is it. That is it for all the exercises which I gave. And of course, you could go ahead and you save this in the folder still. Yeah, I can just save it as reasons and stuff. Okay, so there you go. That is what you had to do for all the exercises which you were given. Now, you have room to ask any question. You can go ahead. I see there are a lot of questions that have been coming up in the chat. My screen is paused. Whoa. Hello, are there any questions? Any questions? You can unmute your mic and ask your questions.
All right. I think we begin with Mr. Ansot Bertrand. You can ask your question now while Teze Gandhi can come in later. Mr. Bertrand, are you there? Please, if your network is really disturbing, you can type your question. Type your question and we are going to see the question. I'll be able to answer that question for you because I think your network is actually disturbing. All right. I think Mr. Hillary has really covered every bit. I think all the basics, what you actually need to know about Microsoft Word. And I don't think there is any other thing that you actually need in order to carry out any activity, all right? So though we have tried as much as possible to go through maybe 1 or 2 exercises, I just want to share my screen and show you a sample of a document, very simple document. I think everything on that document has been elaborated by Mr. Awahila Richie. So it's just for you to look at the document, all right? You just try to see, you identify the various the tools which have been actually used, the tools that have been used in order to come out with that document. It's very simple. It's a very simple document. It's just a document we use here at the office. I'm just going to share my screen. All right. So I hope my screen is everyone can see it very well. Okay.
Yes, your screen is very visible.
All right. This is just a simple document. It's very simple. There's nothing complicated about the document. But if you look at this document from afar, when it is printed, you say, oh my God, here we go again. Something very, very complicated. But it's very easy. It's very easy. We've talked about everything on this document. I don't know if you covered the watermark. I don't know if it was part
No. That one was not included in.
Okay.
That one is in the more advanced stages.
I think yes, that's advanced stages of Microsoft Word. So as you can see, this is a simple document. It's a simple document. You have with headers, footers, and I just want you to see what you can actually do. You need to start rating yourself to see how far you can go. And with Microsoft Word, you know, a lot of letterheads, for example, and mostly people go and pay graphic designers to actually do letterhead. Though when you use a good software to do letterhead, it means you do that letterhead, you have to print it out, because I think even when I was still working in Cameroon, our company, we used to go and pay for letterheads. We pay for letterheads, they produce it, they print it, and they bring to the office. So what we do is we just simply type everything on an A4, maybe, then we just print on the letterhead, of which I see that as wastage of resources. It's wastage of resources, honestly. And you cannot be going to hierarchy and be explaining things like that to them. They will tell you, no, you don't know what you are saying, you understand? So with these simple exercises that we've done, you should be able to insert everything on this document. For example, this is a header, all right? A header, once you just double click at the top section of your working document, this section is just going to pop up, or you use the section, the normal method on the menu bar. Then, yes, as you go to design, you'll be able to get to that. You can equally include a logo. Once you click on it, you can include the logo. Maybe if you have a company, you want to produce a letterhead, you just simply, you go to design, you open that, you insert your logo, you insert a text just beside, and you see, you look at it very difficult, but this is just a shape I've just included here. It's a simple shape, all right? I just go to insert a shape. I can insert even a square, and then I try to reduce it in such a way that it can just fit like a line. So it's at that particular moment, you see it is fitting here as a line. Very, very simple. But when people look at it, it looks somehow complicated. And the same thing I've done below. Initially, I inserted something which was more complicated, but due to the fact that it consumes a lot of ink, I had to make something like this. So when you look at this document, if you are able to produce something like this, then I don't think there's anything difficult for you to do at an early stages of your Microsoft Word. I think the other items, when we go into the intermediate or the advanced stages, you can still pop in and you get more and more knowledge about this class. Because after this class, after we have summarized, we've gone through the introductory part of this class, we are going to the intermediate and the advanced stages. That's for people who really want to be confident of what they are doing. You need to be confident, or you need to sit somewhere, and when somebody tells you, are you sure of what you're doing? You say, yes, you are very, very sure. All right. So it's very, very easy. You see, we did alignments, right? We did alignments. This heading here, I've just simply aligned it to the right. It's very, very simple. I align I align my date to the right. All right. Then I align my heading to the center. I make it bold. I increase the font size to 22. Very, very simple. And I use the Times New Roman. You understand? Then to make it the particular font type that I want. It's very, very simple. Then if you look at my text here, you see we have this particular text. I've justified it, which means I make it look more beautiful and more presentable. All right, I make it more beautiful and more presentable because if I don't align, if I don't justify this, all right, if I just take left or right or center, it doesn't look beautiful. But once I justify it, all right, once I justify it, you see it looks very, very beautiful. It is now, it touches the edges of your page. So it makes it look very, very beautiful, all right? So I just thought of it. I just thought, let me share this with you. So you look at this document and see how far you can try as much as possible to do something like this. You can do something like this, all right? You see, in between your text, you can decide to bold a particular text, all right? You highlight, you bold, you change to capital letters. There another trick I can equally give you. I don't know if Mr. Wahilari covered that. If you want to maybe increase the, you want to change maybe a text within, you want to change a particular word or a particular phrase within your working area. Maybe you want to change it from small letters to capital letters, all right? If you have a pen, you can just write it down. You press Shift plus F3. Once you press Shift plus F3, it simply changes that, that document. Shift plus F3. So you see what is happening. When I press Shift plus F3, it changes. It can either change the beginning of each word changes to capital letters, all right, or the complete text changes to capital letters. So those are little tricks you should know them, all right. I think we are done with this, all right. You see down here on the footer, once I type, like for example, I can decide to insert a text box here. I think you know how to insert a text box. I can insert a text box here below here, and then I include my address, and then on the other side, I equally insert a text box. Or I type the first part of it, then I press my tab key to give some little space, and then I continue with the email. So those are other ways in which you can manipulate with your document. I think with that, you have a general view of what you can do. I think I will go to another document here. We just look at it, Ron. I think because there's something I want you to see. Where is that? All right, this one. All right, now this is we call it here NOC. It's a document we.
You need to share the screen.
This one is not shared. Oh, sorry. Let me do that. All right. All right. So this is the same document, the same company. This is one of the companies of Damas Group. All right. It's just one of the companies. So you see, this is another document, NOC. We'll give this to our staffs. We need arises when they want to do maybe one or two little other jobs which are not part of what they are doing. You see, when you look at this document, you see what I want to show here is the context of you inserting a table, all right? I think we've covered that. I don't know if we have covered that. I think we have. To insert a table, you see, it makes the document look beautiful. So just look at this context and you see other changes which you can do to a document, all right? As you can see, you insert a table. Once you insert a table, you can easily type inside the table and everything goes the way you want, all right? Then we equally have to underline. You have to underline, and you can equally do italics. So generally, we are just simply showing you some maybe complicated documents which you may look at it as if it's difficult, but I think we have covered everything in regards to documents like that. So I have so many of these documents, and I think we have actually given you what you need at the beginning of this for this particular class, which can really, really help you out there in terms of Microsoft Word. Now that you've understood Microsoft Word and we are getting into Excel, I think we are just going to, Mr. Wahilari will just run with that one with the speed of light, because the only difficult aspect of that particular course is what you, because maybe the formulas and inputting the formulas and trying to get results. That will be what may be difficult for you, but I think with the menus and everything, we have covered everything. So that's it. I think that's it. I don't think there is any other document I might want to show you which might be complicated. I think that's it. So over to you, Mr. Wahilari.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Judene, for that explanation. So please, the floor is open for any questions. If there are no questions, then the session today, we are going to end this, knowing that we we've rounded up with Word. That is the beginner phase of Word, and then we move to. I'll have to introduce Microsoft Excel, and we kick off with that tomorrow. But for you to actually be certified in Word for this beginner phase, you are going to have to go into an exam, Mr. Jordan. So
Yes, yes.
organize an exam which you have to write. So, but that is not only going to be limited to Word. So we need to cover all the program, and then the exam is going to be at the end, which is going to be for all the programs. That is Word, Excel, Publisher, and PowerPoint. Okay, so if there are no questions, are there any questions? Anybody needs any question? You have any doubt or you need clarification or anything, you can ask your question now as far as Microsoft Word is concerned before we move to Excel.
I think I don't know, maybe you can begin Excel tomorrow, or I don't know if it's comfortable for everyone since
No, today we're just going to do an introductory phase, because tomorrow, like we said, I don't think there are a lot of things which you still have to go over as far as Excel is concerned. You know, it's just similar to Word, but for the fact that you'll be dealing with a lot of calculations and all that. So if there are no questions, I think I will just go ahead, and I just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, is everybody seeing my screen?
yeah, the screen is running.
Okay, so presently this is the Microsoft Excel screen. Okay, so in here, you're going to find that this page is similar to what we have in Word. Okay, you still got a home tab, you got a new, to create a new document, open. So presently I am working in Microsoft Excel 2016. Okay, but we will be using 27. I just want to use this for the explanation. They have a similar interface. There's no difference as far as they are concerned. Okay, so actually, if you are connected to the internet, you are going to find a lot of templates here. Yes. Also get yourself into the attitude of using templates. It's going to like minimize your work a lot. But for now, we're going to go ahead and let me just open a blank sheet. Okay. So presently we're in the blank sheet, and Excel, you see, is just similar to Word. You're going to find out that Microsoft Office Word, Microsoft Office PowerPoint, Publisher, and Excel, they have a similar interface, but they are different. They're not really that similar. They're only similar in the fact that what at the top here, you still have tabs. Okay, you still got the tab for the home tab, the insert tab, the page layout, but you find out there is one new tab in Excel, which is what formulas. Okay, and also you got data, the review and the view tab, you still have this in Word. Okay, all right, so all these tabs are still separated in what groups. So you got these groups which is associated to the clipboard, the group which is associated to font, a group for alignment, and then a new group here in Excel which is for numbers. You got a styles group, you got a new group here too for sales, and then you have all these sorting tools which we are going to be looking at as we were working in Excel. Another thing you should note in while we're working in Excel is what we are going to be working in rows and columns. Okay, now if I was to click on this A, that is column A. If I was to click on 1 here, this is row 1. Okay, and then these individual spaces which you have in here are what we call what cells. Okay, presently all the space that you find here is what we call the worksheet. So this is where you are going to be carrying out all your exercises as far as Excel is concerned. Okay, and if I was to click on in this cell, you see this is, and you look in the name box here, you find B3. So this shows that this is cell B3. Okay, and then also this is one way of selecting the Excel. Another way of selecting is you can actually draw like this, and this is what we call now a range. So this is a range of data from B6 to E6. Okay, as you can see here, this is from B3 rather to E6, as you can see here. Okay, so that is just how Excel is. And then also down here, you have this bar down here. Presently, it's a little bit empty, but this down here can help you to bring in multiple sheets in one workspace as you have here. Presently, you are working on one sheet, In the other version of Excel, which is 27, you don't have this plus sign here. If you want to add a sheet, you have to manually do that. But I think, I don't know why this thing is freezing a bit. Here, you just need to click on the plus sign here. It brings you another sheet. You click here still, it brings another one. So this is a new sheet. This is another one. How can I, let me differentiate this. If I was to type something in here, say, hello. Okay, this is corresponding. This is associated just with this sheet. That is sheet 1. If I go to sheet 2, you see you don't have this. So this is a new sheet still in the same document. Okay, so you can spread out your work like this as far as Excel is concerned. So also you can rename the sheet. Like if I also right click here and I select rename, I can rename it. Another way is you can double click, and if you just call this the sheet hello, you press enter. There you go. If you rename that sheet, you can go ahead and you rename all the other sheets. You have to really master all this, because the kind of exercises that I'm going to be giving in Excel, you have to know how to work with all this, okay? But don't bother if you don't understand anything now. As we are going ahead with the exercise, you're really going to like catch up. So this is just Excel. What is Excel? Excel is just a software that we're going to be using to be carrying out mathematical computations. For the basic stage, we're going to look at, I'm going to send the program in the group after this, yes, so you can go over it. Yes, we'll just look at basic mathematical computations like addition, subtraction, taking average, basic formulas and all that. Yes, and then also how to work with data, fit in data, customize your data, you know, and stuff like that. So, well, this is just it for Excel, and tomorrow we are going to kick off with the class for Excel. Please, if I believe at this point, we don't have anything to do with Word again, because everybody seems to be well contented, and it means we're moving now to Excel. And at the end of Excel, we are going to move to Publisher, from there to PowerPoint, and then we will have our exam. We are not going back to Word, please. We are not going back to Word again. From now on, it's just Excel. Okay, so Mr. Jordan, if you have anything to say, I think say now, yeah, so we can round up.
Okay, all right. No, I think everything has boiled down. You've really explained a little whole of everything. We just want to say this particular class, class which you need to really pay attention when you are attending the class, because it's not like Word where you can maybe do some catch-ups and you type and you misspell some things and you are contented. You may decide to use any fonts. With Excel, the formulas are the formulas. You make a mistake with the formula, you are gone. You will not get the results that you actually want. So this is a class which you need to pay more attention to. You need to pay more attention to this Excel class. So make sure you have your pens ready. You try to take down notes, because it's going to really, really help you, especially the formulas. At times, you just see you may just impute a formula which you might not come back to that formula again, all right? And imputation in Excel, they have different ways in which you can do calculations, all right? Like for example, addition may have 2 or more ways of doing that, subtraction and maybe summation and things like that. So we are going to see all of that in this introductory phase. For those who will go through the intermediate phase, that's when you now really see the reality of Excel. But what you're going to learn now, at least you can use that for a teacher can actually go through, maybe take the name of his or her students, help the teacher to calculate his or her marks. You know, it has really helped a lot of teachers, especially those that are computer literate, because you don't have the stress to always think of maybe doing students ranking and all that, to rank students, you know, the first, second, and third, that you use your calculator to be punching and things like that. You just do everything on a simple worksheet, a single worksheet, and the worksheet gives you the result at that moment. So all you need to do is just to pick out the first, pick out the second, and things like that. You're able to calculate averages of students. So basically, that's what we'll be doing throughout this Excel class. And we are going to equally run as fast as possible. And at this stage, after this class, like I said before, we are doing screening. For those who have not been participating in this class, we are so sorry. If you have not participated, it means you are not amongst us, you are not one of us. So after this class, by tomorrow, before the end of tomorrow, we are going to eliminate those who are not participating in the class. I think Mr. Wahilari has the assignments. And for those who have contacted me severally due to the issue of maybe 1 or 2 issues of network, we are going to look at that. But the thing is that we are not going back to work. We are not going back to work. And certificates will be given based on your performance, please. We will not pick out a certificate and you go there. You say you know what, you know Excel. You can't do this. Who issued you this certificate? And you say it is Talita Group. It doesn't work like that. If you can't perform, if you can't deliver, we will not issue you a certificate. And even if at the tail end, at the end, or maybe you decide to come back maybe later to take the course, because from now, after this class, our next courses, when we are introducing Microsoft Word, will be a paid class. So even if you pay your money and you're unable to get the class, get the exam right, you will not receive your certificate. So just bear that in mind and try to work, because this is a certificate which you will not be able to really sit down in a class. What we are giving you here, you will not get it in. You cannot sacrifice maybe what you are doing your job to go and sit in a class and maybe take the same knowledge, and for the fee we are giving you at a zero fee. So we must take the issue of the assignments and the exams very, very seriously. So take note of this, and we are equally noting all those who are actually participating in these classes. And we want to really congratulate you, because we are taking a step which a lot of people are not willing to take. All right, it's an opportunity which you will not regret it. You will not regret it. So I think that is all I have, Mr. Awahilari, and we can maybe round off for today, and tomorrow we kick off with the class proper.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. It's all about you sacrificing, your time and effort in order to grasp this, because the way we do it here at Tarita is we go straight to the point, okay? We are not those kind of institutions where you go and they start explaining you things that are useless to you. Yes. The first thing is for you, the first question, what am I doing here? Why do I need this knowledge? Okay. If you are like maybe a secretary or you're an accountant or what, then you know that this is what I want to do. I need this, So in here at Tadita, we give you what is really needed, okay? We don't beat around the bush here. And we don't go in front and we come, but that is why we always give room for questions. So if you have your question, like we always say, you ask, we clarify you. And when we are going to the next phase, we are going to the next phase, please. So there is no room for excuse when we set our exams, and you must perform. If you don't perform, we are sorry, but we can't give you a certificate if you are not able to produce, because those certificates are going to be, the certificates we're giving you are not just normal certificates. Those certificates can actually use them to do a lot of things, okay, both locally and internationally even. So you have to deserve those certificates. So thank you very much for everyone who attended today, and see you tomorrow in our Excel class. Thank you and good night to everybody.
All right, good night to everyone.